Hey, this is Judge Waits bringing you my AR guide to Call of Duty Ghosts. Before I get into this guide though, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my good friend Till I Claps. If you follow this link to this video, it's going to open up in a new window and you won't lose your place here. But check out his video. He got a KEM strike in TDM. You know what I think about that. Other than his beastly gameplay though, this guy is just an overall great guy. You're going to like his content, so go check him out. But let's get into this assault rifle guide. My goal is to just provide the best kick butt guide to help you make an informed decision on which assault rifle you should use. And I'm going to do these for all the different categories, but I always like to start out with the assault rifles because those are my favorites. But let's get into this chart. Over on the left hand side, you've got the weapon name, pretty self-explanatory. In the orange column, you have how it comes normally. Normally all these weapons are full auto except for the msbs, and that's a 3-round burst weapon. In that next purple column, you've got the magazine side. That's how many bullets come in a magazine standard. If you of course add the extended mag attachment, that's going to jump that up. So the FAD is winning in that area. It comes with 42 rounds added in that extended mag, and holy smokes, you got 63 rounds. But the Remington, you can see, only has 24 rounds, so extended mag might be a good attachment for that weapon. Now in this next column, you have the damage, and you have to compare the damage, what's in red, to the range, what's in blue. So for the AK-12, you're going to see that it has pretty good damage, 49 damage up close, and it drops down to 25 damage. Now, when does that occur? All right, if you go over to the blue column, you'll see that up to 1,090 units, it's going to do that 49 damage per bullet. Now, from the 1090 to the 1675, that's where the actual damage starts dropping off. And so when it gets to 1675, it's only going to be doing that 25 damage from there on out all the way across the map. You know, the bullets never disappear or anything like that. So if you look at that 1090 and 1675, halfway in between that range, you're going to get halfway in between that damage range of that 49 and 25. So keep in mind, it just kind of linearly drops off until up until the point and then goes straight on with that 25. Now in the next or last column in that red section, there is a headshot multiplier. Obviously, if you hit somebody in the head up close with the AK-12, it's going to do 49 damage times 1.4, whatever that is. I don't know, maybe 70 or somewhere around there per bullet. So obviously it's good if you can hit somebody in the head. Now, keep in mind that the damage numbers that you see listed there are for that particular fire type. So say, for instance, the AK-12. As soon as you add the attachment and change it from a full auto to a semi-automatic weapon, it changes a lot of the characteristics. The damage goes up, the fire rate obviously goes down. So just keep that in mind. I do not have all the numbers for all the different attachments as of yet, but as I do, I will update this chart. But let's move on to the fire rates. As you can see, the FAD fires the fastest at 764 rounds per minute. The ARX is the second fastest, and the msbs is the slowest. Now keep in mind though, with the msbs, that the first 3 rounds that come out of this weapon come out super fast, up in the 800 rounds per minute mark, but by the time you pull the trigger, wait for the trigger delay, and pull the trigger again, that brings that average speed way down. So that's why that number is so low. But I want to move on to the last 2 columns in this category, time to kill minimum and time to kill maximum. These are numbers that if you were to shoot somebody, this is how long it's going to take to actually drop them. So that first number that you see there is at its best range with its best damage, and that second number is at its worst range or with its worst damage. So you can see that how that drops down. Now it would appear that the FAD would be a better weapon compared to like the Remington, even though the Remington is higher damage, but this does not consider range. As soon as you start moving out from that 650 range with the FAD, the bullets on that weapon start getting a lot weaker and it takes longer to actually drop somebody. Whereas with the Remington, you've got that nice strong number, that nice strong time to kill up until 1,285 units. So you have to take into consideration the range at which these guns are firing and the targets that you are shooting. Now, speaking of range, we already kind of talked about the range drop-off start and the range drop-off end, but once again, you know, that first number is the range at which it does max damage. So speaking of the Remington, up until 1,285 units, it is going to be doing 49 damage per bullet, and then it's going to drop down, and then from that 2,200 on out, it's only going to be doing 20 damage per bullet. Now the next part of that is 2 hit, 3 hit, 4 hit, 5 hit. That is the range at which 2 bullets will kill somebody somebody, 3 bullets will kill somebody, and 4 bullets will kill somebody. Now with the SC 2010, for instance, you cannot take somebody out with 2 bullets because it's only doing 35 damage per bullet. So 35 times 2 is 70. The standard core player has 100 health. That's not enough to take them out. Now the only exception to this would be the AK-12. It does 49 damage per bullet. Normally that's still not going to be enough to take somebody out. 49 times 2, 98. That's still under 100. But if you were to get a headshot, that would actually pump that damage up and be enough to take somebody out in 2 bullets. But normally speaking, only the msbs is going to take somebody out with 2 bullets because it's doing 55 damage per bullet. Now, as we move into the 3 bullet range, you can see that all these weapons can actually drop somebody with 3 bullets. Now, the thing to keep in mind, though, is look at the FAD. It can only drop somebody with 3 bullets up until 650 units, where you compare that to the Remington, and that thing is dropping people at 1,758 units with only 3 bullets. So that's why I said you really have to take into consideration the range that it's doing these damage at. And if you want to see how that range kind of equates to in-game, look at that map below that. There is a map of Strike Zone. The area on the top left is the part that's open with the statue and the van, and each of those big squares is 500 units. So you can kind of see the range for the weapons and kind of get a feeling for how far that is. Now the area in yellow in the chart, that is the reload characteristics or the reload times. That is pretty self-explanatory. To the right of that, I've got recoil plots. That's when you pull the trigger, how the gun is going to jump up and down and everything like that. Now keep in mind though, that is normally how the gun shoots. If you add a grip to it or if you add something else, that is going to change the recoil plot. Now over in the bottom left, I've got a few notes, like if you add a silencer, you're going to lose 25% of your range because of that silencer, whereas if you put a muzzle brake on a weapon, that actually adds 20% to your range. So make sure you check out those notes. I've also got some other things on that bottom left hand side that I'm not going to read to you, but I hope this helps you out. Like I said, I want to put the best AR guide or the best gun guides out there so that you can